Hey everybody, Nacha rules. Well, Nacha has some new rules coming. On March 18th of 2024, Nacha, the supreme commanders and rulers of the ACH network, well, they announced some fresh rules to tackle frauds like business email compromise, BEC. Those things that sneak into credit push payments. And these rules, well, they set a basic level of payment monitoring for all the ACH network players, except, of course, for regular consumers. Consumers, you just need to monitor your accounts. For the first time, they give the receiving financial institution, the RDFIs, a clear role in keeping an eye on the payments that they receive. See, frauds like BEC or vendor impersonation or even payroll impersonation, they trick money out of a payer's account straight into scammers' hands. And according to some FBI reports, there have been as many as 21,000 plus BEC complaints, racking up to almost 3 billion in losses, making it the second most expensive cybercrime there is. That's a lot. Well, not just President and CEO Jane Larimer cheered this move towards self-policing. She said, everyone in the ACH network has a part to play in cutting down fraud and bouncing back when it happens. I totally agree with you, Jane. In our upcoming Payments Professor classes, we're going to dive deep into the new credit risk management rules that have been issued by Nacha. And they include, well, several new rules or tweaks. How about a sneak peek? The first rule change, which is effective October 1st, 2024, RDFIs can use the R17 code to return any, let's call them fishy payments. An expanded use of also the request for return RO6 that we're going to see in this rule for ODFIs to ask RDFIs to return payments for any reason. This also, what we're going to see, is gives the RDFIs more leeway to hold on to suspicious funds while they perform an investigation, providing the RDFI with an additional exception from the fund's availability requirement to include credit entries that the RDFI suspects are originated under false pretenses. Also, we're going to see that now a WSUD, a written statement of unauthorized debit, can be signed as soon as the receiver notices the transaction, even if it hasn't hit the account yet. Now, RDFIs must return an unauthorized consumer debit by the opening of the 6th banking day after reviewing the WSUD. That's another new option. Then there's a second phase. That is actually the first fraud monitoring phase. I'm serious. There's going to be a fraud monitoring phase 1 and 2. Phase 1 will be effective March 20th of 2026. ODFIs and big financial institutions and, the bigger corporate credit unions, even third-party service providers and third-party senders, those with over 6 million transactions in 2023, they will need to set up fraud detection processes. We'll also see that RDFIs with over 10 million transactions in 2023 must also set up similar fraud detection processes. We're also going to see this, a new company entry description to be used: payroll. And believe it or not, payroll is for payroll entries. We'll also see a new company entry description of purchase, which will be for e-commerce purchases. Then in the final phase, which is fraud monitoring phase 2, that one will be effective June 19th of 2026. Smaller, non-consumer originators and third-party service providers and senders, as well as RDFIs, will then be required to establish fraud detection processes by that time. Now, these rules, they follow the journey of a credit push payment, aiming to catch fraud from start to finish. When fraud is spotted, the rules that ODFIs request the return of payments allow RDFIs to delay funds availability, and that gives them time for extra scrutiny, and it gives the RDFI the power to return suspicious transactions independently. Another thing from Nacha President Jane Larimer. She noted how credit push fraud has quickly become a hot topic. Not long ago, credit push fraud wasn't on our radar. That's what she said, and she's right, so I'm so glad that she's paying attention to it. Now, it's a key part of our conversation, showing the need to keep our strategies up to date. Also coming from Jane. The new rules fit together like puzzle pieces, working to reduce and also to be able to recover credit push fraud. These are some really important and necessary rules changes. Stay tuned for our upcoming Payments Professor classes, where we're going to break down each of these changes in more detail and help you know what to expect. We're going to even answer some common questions and ensure that you are ready for what's coming. For now, class dismissed.